Check one, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hello, hello. Mic check 1, 2. Hopefully this is coming in okay. All right, let's do this. Guys, what's going on? Good afternoon. Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. This is episode something because I lost count. This is also a something in quarantine because I equally lost count. How's it going, guys? We have a kind of a tech heavy, not really tech heavy, kind of some stuff to discuss. Get into it. I will say I do have to cut out pretty much right at 3 o'clock today because I am taking a look at a couple apartments. So it's if you're hoping for like an hour and a half show today, it's just going to be an hour. So I apologize for that, but you guys know it's usually an hour. Anyway, let me get into chat here and then we'll get started. Ryu, Eugene is in here. Hi. Hey, Ryu, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Salwank is in here too. Is he lagging? Am I lagging? If I'm lagging, let me know if I'm lagging. Hopefully I'm not lagging. That's not a good thing. Am I lagging? I can't tell. Hackney Man is in here as well. What up, chat? What up, Jay? What up, Hackney Man? How's it going? How you doing? Good evening to you, right? It's evening over there. Good afternoon to everyone here in the US. But let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let's talk about the Nord. So apparently MKBHD had an interview with Carl Pei about the OnePlus Nord. I have not watched this video. Have you guys seen it yet? If you have, please chime in. Let me know what you thought. I haven't had a chance. Literally, right before you see me in front of this camera, I just took a shower. I had a busy morning, also because I woke up late. So I went to work out, got ready, got all this stuff set up, and you know. So I haven't had a chance to watch it. I saw that everyone was talking about it, so I figured we'll go ahead and we'll discuss. So OnePlus Nord design revealed in interview with Carl Pei. The highly anticipated OnePlus Nord isn't scheduled to debut until a week from now, which is July 21st, I believe. But the latest video from MKBHD gives us our first look at the design of the phone alongside several other noteworthy bits of info. So here is, I'm assuming, right, this is the Nord. This is the official Nord. I know that, was it a week ago or so, I think Team Varai in chat was a little he had some concerns that it was going to be a glossy back, and it looks like it is going to be a glossy back. Though for me, the only concern with the glossy back is how bad is it going to be when it comes to being a fingerprint magnet. I don't know if that's the case. Again, I haven't seen the video, so did they actually have? Well, I'm assuming the video was it like a Zoom call or something? Was Carl the only one that had it, or did MKBHD actually have a OnePlus Nord? Someone in chat, let me know, because I have no idea. Maybe they'll say it here. The interview conducted with OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei shows us the upcoming OnePlus Buds TWS earphones in an eye-catching teal colorway, which Pei is wearing throughout the video. Right there. I don't know. It's just, I'm still weird about these buds because it just looks so much like AirPods, and it doesn't make sense why they would create something that looks so familiar to AirPods and not make their own kind of design, I guess. Pei also shows the interesting Nord prototype with 3 L-shaped cameras seen in the company's first, quote, New Beginnings video series. We also get to learn about the bill of materials, BOM, costs associated for components like NFC, IP rating, display, and battery. Spoiler alert, NFC adds $4 to the bill of materials cost, while securing an IP rating comes out to $15 due to the expensive machinery used to conduct these tests. Pei reveals that OnePlus waited this long to re-enter the mid-range sector as the company felt the chipsets in the segment, and more specifically the Snap 765G, can finally offer a similar experience to the flagship 8 series SoCs. And then check out the video. I'll check it out later. I haven't had a chance. Actually, I'm going to talk about the buds a little after this, but let's just go ahead and continue just to make sure I didn't miss anything. This article from The Verge is pretty much, I'm assuming, is going to be the same thing. I just want to see if there's anything that we missed in here. So OnePlus has revealed a first look at the Nord, giving a quick preview to MKBHD's to MKBHD during an interview about the phone's design process. The Nord, which is supposed to be OnePlus's return to mid-range phones. I like how they keep, this is now the second article that's saying it, OnePlus's return to mid-range phones. Their phones weren't mid-range really in the first place. They were higher flagship phones at a cheap price. Let's not let's not get that twisted. This is a mid-range phone, or an inferior processing phone, right? So it's a cheaper price, which is what the original OnePlus was, but it had higher end specs, at least in terms of performance power. Let's not talk about the camera, because the camera then wasn't the best either. But battery, build quality, processor, all higher end. So let's not sit here and start calling it a return to the mid-range, because that's not what OnePlus was about. That, I think people are losing that notion there. If you've been with OnePlus for a while, you know that they offered higher end phones at cheaper prices. This is not what the Nord is. This is well, I don't know, maybe the processor is the only lower end part here, and the camera, and then everything else is higher end from the specs. But I don't like the way that they're wording it. I don't agree with it. So okay, OnePlus has been teasing out details ahead of the launch. In the latest MKBHD video, Brownlee displays a brief look at what the Nord will look like. It bears a strong resemblance to the OnePlus 8 released earlier this year, with a glossy back, curved edges, a central logo, and a camera strip. The big difference is that the camera strip is now located at the upper left corner of the phone, whereas recent OnePlus phones have positioned it in the center. Another shot shows off the front of the phone, revealing a dual selfie camera that's cut out in the upper left corner of the screen, which is right here. The phone has thick and seemingly even bezels running all around the display. It looks similar to the bezels on the iPhone XR or 11, though without the upper notch. There appears to be a USB-C port and SIM tray on the bottom of the phone. The design was settled on, quote, really late in the process, OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei told Brownlee. Pei said OnePlus delayed the launch by a month in order to adjust the design so that the phone would look more consistent with other OnePlus devices. Earlier prototypes, which is what we saw, or which I showed earlier in the article. So OnePlus plans to fully unveil the Nord on July 21st. The phone is supposed to sell for less than $500 and launch first in India and Europe. OnePlus has confirmed it'll have 5G, shipping with the Snap 765G processor. Leaks point to a 6.55-inch OLED, 90 hertz refresh rate, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, and a 4,300 milliamp hour battery. So, like, I'm not hating on any of those specs. Those are really good specs at a $500 price point. If it's going to be more than $500, then we have another thing to discuss here. There's also the fact that we can sit here and say, well, why am I going to pay $500 for this when I can just buy a OnePlus 7T for $500, a OnePlus 7 Pro for $500, and have a Snapdragon 800 processor? You know, so you just don't get 5G on it unless 5G is now some critical point in your life where you need 5G today because you're going to keep this phone for the next 3 or 4 years, and you think 5G is just godsend to phone technology, which maybe it will be in the future, but it's not ready for it yet. Naturally, Pei teases a second unannounced OnePlus product in the interview, the OnePlus Buds. He appears to be wearing a light blue model. They're also supposed to be announced on July 21st. So let's just go into this real quick. This article from Review Geek. I don't even know how this article came to me here. So these OnePlus Buds, 30 hours of burdenless audio experience. So 30 hours, right? For these right here, 30 hours of battery life. After a series of leaks and rumors, OnePlus announced its plans to launch a set of true wireless earbuds along the Nord. Now, through a post on the OnePlus forum, the company's CEO is giving us a preview of the upcoming OnePlus Buds. The big news here is they have a 7-hour listening time. Coupled with their charging case, OnePlus says that you should get 30 hours of audio playback before plugging your OnePlus Buds into an outlet. That's significantly better than the Apple AirPods or Google Pixel Buds, which have a 5-hour listening time and a total battery life of around 24 hours with their charging case, which is great. I'm just wondering how good the audio experience is. If OnePlus' previous attempt at wireless earbuds are any indication, then the OnePlus Buds will support fast charging that blows away competing headphone manufacturers. But OnePlus hasn't mentioned anything about fast charging, so consider this speculation. Also, will it be wireless? Is the case wireless charging? Again, I haven't watched this video, so I have no idea what they talked about. I don't know if it was a good conversation or not. I'm assuming so. You know, MQBHD usually has pretty good video production, and at the end of the day, his videos I think are pretty entertaining, at least for tech enthusiasts. So anyway, we know what the OnePlus Buds look like now. Carl Pei sat in for an interview, blah, blah, blah. Like the AirPods, the OnePlus Buds have a long stem and a half in-ear design. In other words, they don't have silicone tips that sit on the outer rim of your ear. We expect to learn more about the Buds, including its price, during the OnePlus Nord launch event on July 21st. OnePlus suggests that the Buds are optimized for OnePlus phones, so there's a good chance that the products will share center stage next Tuesday. At the end of the day, these are all great products. I'm sure the OnePlus Nord is going to be a great phone with the specs it has. I think maybe the only thing I would be concerned about is how good the camera is. These OnePlus Buds, great battery life, right? Who knows about the sound quality? Who knows what other features it might have on it? I know I might sound cynical. Maybe I do. Maybe I sound very aggressive talking about the Nord and these Buds right now, but I just don't know enough. I guess maybe the chip on my shoulder is the fact that I was never on board with OnePlus going the route they did, making these higher end premium phones and then pricing them a lot higher than I really think they deserve to be at. But I can understand what they're doing if they're doing this in a marketing way where they want to make multiple devices. I just feel like they abandoned their core audience and now they're trying to reclaim that. That's it. I thought maybe I had another thought or two, but that's all I had. So let me get back into chat here. I see Brian with the dollar super chat. Brian, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the continued support as always. Always appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Let me scroll back up here. Oh man, Brian is in here. Brian saying it's super laggy. Am I still super laggy? Lucas says, yes, stream is lagging, I guess, due to poor internet connection on Jerome's side. My internet, I thought, was pretty. I don't want to be lagging. Am I lagging right now? Please let me know. So yeah, it says you are, and quality is like 144p. That's going to be awful trying to edit clip videos later. Yeah, your video and audio is a bit off. That sucks. All right, keep me posted. Let me know if it's still bad. Big House Productions is in here. What's up, everyone? What's going on? Big House, glad you can make it. Nice to see you. Oh, seems good now. Okay, it's okay now. All right, we're good. We're good. Team Varai is in here. What's going on, Team Varai? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, Ryu says, yeah, I should watch it. It's very informative. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Paul, welcome to the stream. Did I say, hey, Paul? Either way, you get 2 hellos if I did already. Ryu says they talk about how much certain features cost and whatnot. That's good to know. Yeah, it looks like they had mentioned that in the article. Big House says, yes, I saw the video. MKBHD asked some good questions about the cost to making their smartphones. Great. I will check that out. Lucas says L-shaped camera on Nord prototype was more original in my opinion. Yeah, that L shape reminds me of like a Tetris piece, right? The L piece on Tetris. Hackney Man says, yeah, really insightful interview with MKBHD. I much prefer their L-shaped camera layout. That looks sick. Wow, that's 2 people agreeing with that. Solwonk feels another way. Those prototype lens on the model were ugly. Paul also says, yeah, that's what I don't get. Was that Pi? Pi said he wanted to let it look like the other phones, but Nord is supposed to be an entirely different line. Lucas says L-shaped cameras were polarizing, just like the Cybertruck. I like the Cybertruck look, actually. I like that. So the different camera setup is differentiating for that line. I'm guessing you're saying. Okay, so let me see here. Brian says, throw down the savagery on stream. I'm driving. Be safe, Brian. Be safe. Yeah, Team Varai says, I wish the Buds didn't have the stem. I agree. Just wasn't. It's really not. I don't know. Apple did it already. Do something different. Deepak Murthy is in the stream. Hey, Jerome. Hey, Deepak. How's it going? Welcome. Nice to see you. Darkman, X2G, also welcome to the stream. I think the stem helps with the voice calls. Okay, so if there's an actual use for it, but why does the stem help with voice calls for here? And what about like the Galaxy Buds, right? That's a little different. The Pixel Buds. But then again, if you didn't put a stem, then you would just have something just like the Galaxy Buds or the Pixel Buds. The MKBHD interview, I'm surprised he sounded good. Okay, well, so wait. That entire voice call with Carl Pei was on the not the Pixel Buds, the OnePlus Buds. Is that what that was? I had no idea. Ryu says, I see where you're coming from, but the goal was never to remain a flagship killer. It was to grow. Yeah, and like I said, I understand if that's the way that they're doing it. Who am I to say how a company controls what they do? I just feel a certain way. You know me, I'm always for the consumer and trying to get the best out of these companies to do the right thing. But, I can only do so much. I can just sit here and complain. Deepak says not lagging here in Italy. Yeah, good. I'm glad the lagging's over. I wonder what happened there. Ray says I think the 8 Pro is priced fairly for $900. I can see both sides. I can understand. It's not as expensive as other flagship phones. I mean, who am I to talk, right? I just paid $1,300 for this Huawei P40 Pro Plus. So in terms of things, looking at $900, comparing it to other phones at that price point with an 865 chipset, I get it. I would have to look more at the camera and really see the experience. But again, I can understand where you're coming from. There's also the fact that this phone is pricing out at 700 something in India, 700 something in other parts of Europe, right? I forget. Anyway, yeah, I know we can circle back and we can go through that all day. I see both sides to it. I really do. Darkman X2G says, I have the Galaxy Buds and voice calls don't sound as good. Well, that's good to know. Good to know. Paul says, I meant the L shape makes it stand out from the line they currently have. That's true. I get that. I mean, everybody's trying to stand out and have something a little different. I mean, how much can you do with phones, at this point? We've seen so many at this point. Hackney Man says, I reckon the Buds were just on show, not the actual audio, just a hunch. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it, so I have no idea. I have no idea how that went. So, okay, I think that's it. When it comes to the Nord, we can always come back and we can have a little more discussion on it, especially if you guys have any thoughts in chat. Today I'm going to be, I'm going to have to end the show at the hour here just because like I said earlier at the top of the hour, I'm taking a look at a couple apartments today. So really quick though, before we move on, I just want to, I know there are a lot of people in here in chat, so welcome. A lot of people watching the stream again, so welcome. Please do me a favor, even though I know I hate being this guy, but if you guys have a chance, please hit that like button. Hitting that like button helps me algorithmically. I think it helps people find the stream. So if you want to support, please, if you can, hit that like button. If you are not a subscriber, please consider being a subscriber. I do stream weekdays, Mondays through Fridays, 2 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday on the dot. So, well, today was at 2:01 p.m. So I'm sorry about that. But for the most part, on time. We have a lively discussion. We talk about tech and chat. So if you have a chance, do that. And then real quick, I'm just going to plug this in here. If you are in the stream and you notice people have green in their name, a red Chicago star next to their name, that is because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you can be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click that join button. You'll get the red Chicago star. You'll get to use custom emoji. You'll get your name in every single one of my intros and outros. And then there are different tiers as well, but I'm not going to get into that. Again, just as little as 99 cents a month. And if you can't find that blue join button, you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. That's all I'm going to do as far as marketing there. Again, it's just a way to support. I know times are tough for everybody. So even if you can't do that, liking, subscribing, just being part of the discussion means more to me than you guys know. It helps me do what I do. It helps offset costs. And encourages me and inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing on a daily basis now for who knows how long. I've been very consistent with these streams and just videos in general. So, as far as YouTube, this is the most I've been consistent in forever. So, a lot of that is thanks to you guys, and I appreciate your support always. So, okay, let's go ahead and let us talk about Huawei. Let's talk about Huawei. I obviously now have a vested interest in Huawei because I own a P40 Pro Plus. But this article from Ars Technica says, bad news for Huawei. UK bans Huawei from 5G networks in, quote, victory for the Trump administration. UK said US sanctions on Huawei threaten security of equipment, necessitating the ban. I don't know how you feel about this, if you feel like this is legit or not. One thing I want to point out here is when I see we have a new member, Darkman X2G. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get to that after I do this story, but thank you so much for the support. I will give you props again after I finish this. The one thing I want to point out here is, do you remember when the NSA was hacking on the US? In terms of all of our privacy issues and whatever, do you think that they were hacking us and listening to us and spying on us using Huawei infrastructure? They were using, I think, Cisco products and other products that were not Huawei. So if you think that Huawei is the only company here that is spying on us or trying to grab our info or whatever, I think you're sorely mistaken. I also think that while, yes, any of these companies can be nefarious in their actions, I feel like there's more to it than that. I mean, could they be spying on us? Yes, definitely. Could they have these intentions of like taking everything they know about us and whatever and like learn? Like, of course, any company, but Huawei is not the only one. Again, I just feel like there's still something else on top of that. So the UK government today announced a ban on Huawei equipment in 5G wireless networks, along with a plan to urge home internet providers to stop buying Huawei gear. The UK government's announcement said that US sanctions imposed in May factored heavily into the decision. So a lot of this was not just based on like UK saying, yeah, Huawei, you know, they're the bad guys. They're saying here a lot of this was because the US sanctions imposed in May factored heavily into the decision, which was, quote, taken today in a meeting of the National Security Council chaired by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Following U.S. sanctions against Huawei and updated technical advice from our cyber experts, the government has decided it's necessary to ban Huawei from our 5G networks. A New York Times report called today's UK announcement, quote, a victory for the Trump administration and a reversal of an earlier decision that underscores how technology has taken center stage in the deepening divide between Western powers and China. Under the new rules, the UK said that buying new Huawei 5G equipment is banned after December 31st of 2020, and that Huawei will be completely removed from the UK's 5G networks by the end of 2027. Here's the thing too, which I'm confused about. If this is such a national security threat or whatever you want to call it, the 5G networks are going to end in 2027. We're in mid 2020 right now. Don't rush it, guys. That's 6.5 years from now. No, so yeah, no, longer than that. What's the rush? What's the rush? If Huawei knows that, you know, like now we can't, like, let's go ahead and just spy on everything. I don't know. Again, I you know, I don't know everything about it. I don't know the whole political thing behind it. I don't know all the technical ways that all of this can be done, but I just feel like Huawei is just not the only bad egg in this group here. I feel like there are other things at play, and it's not just I don't know. That's my answer for everything. While there isn't a corresponding ban on Huawei gear, I mean, I guess for me, I'm just learning along the way. I'm sharing the story because I feel like it's relevant. And it's just to show you kind of like how companies and countries and whatever work. Are they doing so? Like, are they doing this? Are they doing all of this for the consumer? Are they doing this for our protection? Really think about that. Is that why they're doing this? Are they banning this P40 Pro Plus? Are they banning me from buying this phone because they're worried that they're going to take everything from me? Or is it because Huawei is a company not in the US who is growing in China? And I don't know. There are so many angles to look at it. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that, like, but we don't know what the real issue is here. And I think everything is kind of muddied at this point. So while there isn't a corresponding ban on Huawei gear in home broadband networks, the UK said it's advising full fiber operators to transition away from purchasing new Huawei equipment. So there's no ban on Huawei equipment for home stuff, for routers or whatever. So you can still buy them if you wanted to, and recommended a transition of 2 years or less. I don't own any Huawei networking equipment. The UK government said the only Huawei, I know I keep interjecting here, the only Huawei equipment I own is a Nexus 6P and now my P40 Pro Plus. I like look to my corner of my eye, I see Paul saying, we'll see, who knows? That is my mantra, apparently. The UK government said it's taking this more lenient approach for wireline networks because the UK has managed Huawei's presence in the UK's fixed access network since 2005. And we also need to avoid a situation where broadband operators are reliant on a single supplier for their equipment. This approach strikes the right balance by recognizing full fiber's established presence and supporting the connections that the public relies on while fully addressing the security concerns of our world-leading experts. 4G and older wireless networks networks will apparently be allowed to keep using Huawei gear. Dowden said in a statement to the House of Commons today that we will need to take a different approach to full fiber and older networks, one that recognizes that they are different to 5G in terms of their technology, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into this whole thing here. The U.S. sanctions impact. The UK explained that U.S. sanction against Huawei removed the firm's access to products which have been based on U.S. semiconductor technology. The UK said its technical experts at the NCSC reviewed the consequences, blah, blah, blah. Huawei denied that U.S. sanctions will prevent it from offering secure technology. We remain confident that the new U.S. restrictions would not have affected the resilience or security in the U.S. The FCC banned Huawei and ZTE equipment. I know Ajit Pai has a big share in this. And so, like, for me to feel a certain way, like Ajit Pai is a huge lobbyist, worked for Verizon, is a big capitalist, like corporate, like looking for profit over people. And so when I hear Ajit Pai say or do anything, I have no trust in that. I really don't. So for me to say, well, Ajit Pai said, like, I don't care what Ajit Pai said. I don't care that he's the FCC chairman. Like, Trump picked him because, like, look at everyone that Trump appointed. They're all corporate people, like that. They're all for profit over people. They're not looking out for the people, and I think that's what I have an issue with, because I just don't trust anybody at this point. I don't trust anyone. Like, I'm not saying that like you need to like buy Huawei phones and Huawei equipment that they're looking out for us, because I'm not saying that either. I just, once Huawei is out of the picture, like, I'm not saying this because I have a P40 Pro Plus now and Huawei is the best. I'm not saying that either. Like, I'm just saying it's a good phone. But once Huawei is out of the picture, then who takes over? And then who's to say that this like company or organization isn't going to do anything bad either? I think I don't know how you fix that issue. I don't. This is why it's just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I just, if you're banning one company, like, show us the real proof, show us really what's happening. Cause I don't think any of this is concrete. There isn't really, I don't know. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting upset over something I don't have all the answers to. So it makes it harder for me to even defend myself on whatever I'm talking about here. I just feel like I'm ranting to rant. Okay. Let me go ahead and thank Darkman X2G for becoming a new YouTube member. Darkman X2G, thank you so much. I'm going to add you into my intros and outros of my live stream starting tomorrow. So thank you so much for the support, man. I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate you being a regular. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let me go ahead and roll back up here and look at chat. DB Cooper is in here. Damn, I missed it. Are you talking about the Nord? I'm sorry, man. Hashtag replay. You know, we can discuss a couple things if I have time, but I'm kind of on a time crunch here. But DB Cooper, welcome to the stream. Okay, so let me scroll back down here. Deepak says, I'm getting hyped by the Nord. It looks like big houses too. Lonky Games, I have not seen you in a minute. Hey, Jerome. Hey, Lonky Games. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Hackney Man says, still holding out for the Nord consumer reviews. By the way, did anyone watch? Oh, I saw that. I didn't watch the video, but can you trust MKBHD? Seems very timely. Wow. That's actually a really good point, Hackney Man. That is it's like, can you trust MKBHD? He puts a video out like that, and then the next video is about the OnePlus Nord. I don't know. That is kind of interesting. That's a good point there. Until Huawei drops the briefcase to the current administration, they will continue to be banned. Oddweight says, Oddweight Sharma. Hey, Oddweight, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Dude, should I pre-order the Nord? Need your opinion. It goes live tomorrow. You might want to not only ask me, but ask Chad as well. Guys, should he pre-order the Nord? Should he pre-order the Nord when... I mean, I don't know. I don't know where you live. I don't know if you're in India or in Europe, because apparently those are the two places it's getting launched at. I think you need to ask yourself what it's going to be priced at, for one. What it's going to be priced at, what competition is going to be out at that price point. Like, we don't know how good the cameras are going to be, so we don't know where that is on your priority list, depending where you live. Can you wait for the Pixel 4a? Because I feel like that's its top competitor. How is this phone competing against the iPhone SE? Is that even available where you're at, or the price point? These are things to consider. I can't tell you outright you should pre-order it. because I really don't know when it comes to the price of where you're living at, how good the rest of it's going to be, but the specs are pretty good. A Snapdragon 765, a 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, a 4,300 milliamp hour battery. Those are pretty high-end specs. If you're going to get it, like, let's say it's in India for $400 US, I think that's a great deal. That's an excellent deal. If you're paying, there are reports that are saying the Nord is going to be like $550 US, 500 euros in Europe. At that point, I don't know if it's worth that price. $550 US, I don't know if it's worth it. I think there are other options that you might consider there. I'd wait. Let me know what you figure out, though. Chat, if any of you guys can help them out as well, what your opinions are, please feel free to add that in there. Deepak says Facebook is one of the worst in privacy policies. Yep. Marcus A says wait until they find out wait until they find out gunpowder was made in China. Marcus A, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Lunky Game says someone told me max volume on AirPods Pro is too loud for them. To me, it's too low. Do you think it's loud enough? Random question. I know it's not a random question. I use where are my AirPods? They're not on me. They're somewhere. I don't know. My AirPods Pro, they're kind of low for me too. When I walk around, when I go work out and I'm outside, I usually have my AirPods Pro not at the highest volume, but 1 or 2 notches below that, which I know sounds pretty loud, but yeah, I can never get it to be too loud if that's kind of what you're asking. So I hear you on that, Wonky Games. I agree with you there. Ryu Eugene says just to look good. Ryu also says they know they can't single out all the companies, so going after Huawei is a no-brainer. I also feel like because they're such a leading competitor that's not in the US that has such a huge market, this is a way to kind of like bring them down, you know? I don't know how you control big companies like this, because if it's not Huawei that's being a big company, then it's Google or Facebook or Apple. But these are all companies that are based in the US. And there's no signs of them slowing down. There's no signs of these US companies slowing down. But like this gigantic company that's not based in the US, like, hey, let's try to figure. Yeah, is that conspiratorial of me to say? Maybe it is. But I feel like this is a way for the US to kind of limit the power that they have right now. Am I right? Am I wrong in saying? I don't know. I see Paul about to say he doesn't know. He's saying it again. Big House says Huawei is a threat to outsell Samsung and Apple if consumers have access to them. And that's my opinion why they were banned in 2018. Big House. Yes. Like we see eye to eye. I feel very similarly there. I really do. Ryu says the gag is most of the U.S. is relying on Apple services, but Trump isn't going after them. Lucas says U.S. had control over China via SoC manufacturing technology. These Huawei, ZTE, and other bans will just speed up China becoming independent in SoC manufacturing in the long term. Lucas, I hear you. You know what? It also makes me think that like them doing this. So now Huawei has their own app gallery. You see these other like third-party things like Lucas has helped me with the Aurora store. You see stuff like F-Droid. You see all of these other things that are trying to work without using Google services. And when you do that, I just feel like you're just going to grow that whole niche, right? You're going to have these people find different ways to make new app stores, make different things. And who knows what's going to come out of that? That's a good point, Lucas. Thank you for sharing that. Big House says that's because Apple brought the briefcase. Paul Hendrick says eCorp pops up after Huawei. There you go. Brian says, nah, can't trust MKBHD. Big House also says, nope, I'm not going to pre-order. Lucas says, you should pre-order the Nord if you are a hardcore OnePlus fan and like Oxygen OS. If not, there are plenty of good alternatives to consider. Thank you guys for sharing all of this info to is it Oddweight? Sorry, I know I just butchered it. I'm like scrolling back up here. Oddweight. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I'm so sorry, guys. Hackney Man says pre-order the Nord as long as you can send it back within 14 days. That's a good point too. That's something I've done. For me, it's all about the screen calibration and camera. Everything else I think will be fine. Hackney Man is probably one of the best people to listen to there because Hackney Man has owned the 8 right? And the 8 Pro. He's experienced screen issues, and he's a good person to kind of rely on there as well. Grant is in here. Hey, Phone Jerome fam. Grant, what's going on, man? Welcome. Grant says no to the Nord at $500. Get the Mi 10 Lite for $340 with similar specs. There you go. Look at that. Grant S doing his YouTube tech diligence, sharing his knowledge. Grant, thank you for sharing that. That's great info. Great info. Deepak says 500 euros is not cheap for the Nord. There you go. Lucky Games also says, if I were to buy a mid-range phone, there really are only 2 options for me. That's the Pixel and the OnePlus Nord. Those feel like, quote, premium mid-rangers to me. I just don't feel other companies have that. Good point. Ryu also says, if you want a great screen and good software with decent camera, then pre-order it. Lucas says, but as Jerome already said, the 7T and 7 Pro dropped in price significantly. So in my opinion, those are better OnePlus offerings than Nord if you don't need 5G right now. That's also great. And Ryu says, if you want a great camera, go for the Pixel 4a or iPhone SE. Guys, thank you so much. You guys are so helpful. Thank you. And there you go. Adwait says, thanks for the help, guys. I'll wait for the reviews. Thank you. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Let me see here. Oddweight also says, I hope Huawei starts competing with Samsung. Samsung keeps reducing features and increasing prices. There you go. Lucas, the 7T is a very good phone, but the cameras are not so good. That's a good point too. Deepak says Grant has spoken. Respect. Okay, guys, let's move on. I got 20 minutes, so let me get these articles here. This article from Android Authority says Samsung shares the vision for 6G, 1 gigabit peak rate, hologram, 16K VR, and more. Since we were talking about 5G and Huawei getting crippled at this point, Samsung has published a white paper regarding 6G technology. And it's talking about down speeds of 1 gigabit per second and latency under 10 milliseconds. Samsung thinks 6G networks could arrive as soon as 2028. Samsung says speed, latency, and reliability are all set to see improvements by transitioning from 5G to 6G. While 5G was designed to achieve 20 gigabit per second peak data rate, in 6G, we aim to provide the peak data rate of 1 gig per second and a user experience data rate of 1 gig per second. Did I say that? No, 1000 gigabits per second and oh my God, I said that wrong. A peak data rate of 1000 gigabits per second. That's ridiculous. And a user experience data rate of 1 gigabit per second. So what could 6G be used for? So they're saying several use cases for the tech. So being truly immersive XR, AR, VR, mixed reality. So streaming AR to an 8K display currently requires 55.3 megabits per second and asserts that truly immersive AR requires 0.44 gigabits per second speeds. These are ridiculous speeds. Wow. Samsung suggests that 6G can be built with AI capabilities in mind, saying AI can deliver reduced power consumption, predict and fix network issues, and improve handover operations. It's clear that 6G is still a long way off, but Samsung is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to companies working on the tech. Ericsson, Huawei, and Xiaomi are just a few of the other firms also working on 6G in some capacity. Okay, so 6G. Just thought I'd share. Figured it might be a good segue into it. There's really not a ton I was going to talk about. There's hologram stuff, which I don't know where I missed that there, but 6G, everybody. You heard it here first. No, not really. I really don't have much to share with that. So let's go ahead and continue on. This article from 9to5 Google talks about the Realme X50 5G. It launched in the UK, has a Snapdragon 765G chipset, 120 hertz display for just 299 pounds. This here is already automatically cheaper than the OnePlus Nord that we just talked about. The Realme X50 5G has the same chipset, Snapdragon 765G, has even a faster display refresh rate at 120 hertz, and it looks like it's 200 pounds less at 300 pounds. So one of the fastest growing smartphone manufacturers in the world has now expanded its growing UK lineup with the Realme X50 5G. The package for under 300 pounds is really impressive as the Realme X50 5G. So look, It's the same stuff. 765G chipset, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, except this has a faster refresh rate at 120 hertz. At 200 pounds less. That sounds like a much better deal at this point, but I don't know. So look, a 4,200 milliamp hour battery. On top of that, it has what, 100 milliamp hours less than the OnePlus Nord. It has 30-watt charge on it, 30-watt wired charge, which is the Realme version of Warp Charge. From BBK Stablemate OnePlus, the super fast charge speed can take you from 0 to 70% battery in around 30 minutes. At the rear, there's a quad camera setup that included a 48 megapixel main sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and a strange black and white monochrome sensor. At the front is a dual punch hole notch that plays host to a 16. This looks exactly. Why is there no picture of the front? So it also has a dual front camera. Is this a OnePlus Nord at just a cheaper price? While it isn't an explicit gaming phone, the Realme X50 5G also includes liquid cooling. There you go, to enhance your gaming sessions when connected to super fast wireless networks. As for availability, you'll be able to pick the Realme X50 5G in ice silver and jungle green. This green looks actually really nice. Direct from Realme UK, Amazon.co.uk, and even Realme Europe if you live in mainland Europe. If you order the phone on launch day, you'll even get a pair of Realme Buds QTWS earbuds as a bonus at around 30 pounds. They aren't bad for the money, but even better when free. Guys, like, does that not sound like a good deal? I mean, I don't know anything about Realme. I don't know what their UI looks like. I don't know how good their cameras are. I don't know what else is packing on it. Like, how good is the speaker on it? But again, at 300 pounds, I feel like those are pretty much the internal specs of a OnePlus Nord, except 200 pounds less. That sounds like a good deal. Am I missing something when it comes to this? Because it looks pretty feature packed. Let me go into chat and see. Paul says my tinfoil hat melts in 6G beams. Ryu says 120 hertz cheap phones versus flagships are two different qualities. Thank you for sharing that, because that's something I didn't know. I don't know how it stacks up when we're just talking about screen display quality in the screen itself. Oddweight says the Realme is from the same parent company, so I guess they use the same chassis. Deepak also says, so basically the same hardware. Why is there so much price difference? It makes no sense. And I guess that's something that kind of like questions me as well. But Paul is saying here, LCD is much cheaper. Team Verizon says, haven't used a Realme phone. Are those the iOS like UI phones like Oppo? I have no idea. I really don't. Both come from BBK Electronics. Deepak says Realme is Oppo. It's a subsidy. Realme is the new OnePlus, says Brian. Hackney Man also says, I learned from using the S20 Plus that I can only handle OnePlus or Pixel UI. That's also a really good point. Brian says it's the Honda to OnePlus's Acura. There you go. But maybe we'll learn a little bit more when stuff comes out. So a good segue to this though is right? Is this the proper segue? It's a proper segue. Yet another brand will unveil 125 watt charging this week. Yesterday we talked about 125 watt charging from Oppo. Apparently all of these guys work kind of together or have some. They all seem to be just from the same tree, right? Just different branches of the tree, and I think they're just trying to like. The way I see it, I think of like my news organization. We do a lot of things. We do a lot of stuff, and we're trying to figure out which one's going to pop off. And apparently now Realme is going to also unveil 125 watt charging. Yesterday I talked about how Oppo is also going to do a 125 watt charging. And who's that other company that's going to do it? IQOO, that's doing 120 watt charging. They all come from the same tree. They're all from the same tree. So the thing about 125 watt charging, apparently from yesterday's article, is it can charge a phone from 0 to 100% in 15 minutes. 15 minutes, which is ridiculously fast. Realme will debut a 125 watt charging solution this week. Its announcement will come a day after Oppo unveils a similar technology. It will nearly double the charging speed of its 65 watt super dart charging. Forget periscope cameras and high refresh rate displays. The holy grail of smartphone design in 2020 is fast becoming charging speed. After Vivo's iQOO announced it would debut 120 watt charging, yet another brand has joined the race. It's all the same, guys. I think I'm convinced at this point they all are using the same technology. It's just a matter of like, what company are you going to hear it from this week, next month? Realme's Zuchi, is that how I say Zuchi, announced on Weibo that it too will debut a 125 watt charging solution on July 16. That number is sneakily hidden in the comment as a binary number. The date of the announcement will come just a day after its sister brand Oppo is set to announce its own 125 watt product. A jump to 125 watts would nearly double Realme's previous highest 65 watt super dart charging solution offered with the X50 Pro 5G. In our review, we found that the Realme X50 Pro 5G's 4200 milliamp hour battery took 30 minutes to fully charge, with no Realme devices currently support. While no Realme devices currently support 125 watt charging, Vivo has demonstrated that a 4000 milliamp hour device can be topped up entirely in just 15 minutes with its 120 watt charging system. So I assume something like 4200 or 4300 milliamp hours is going to charge it in maybe 20 minutes. We're not expecting a new device from Realme this week though, but rather more details on how it plans to implement its rapid charging system in future devices. So there you go. Another company doing it. Why not? Why not? Let's have all phones charge in 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. That's not a bad thing to have. As far as battery degradation, that's another question. But if you have a phone that has 4,000, 4,200, 4,400 milliamp hour batteries in it, for me, for example, on my Huawei P40 Pro Plus, I've now charged my phone three times now in 8 days. So I don't even charge it daily anymore. So maybe it's not even going to make that much of a difference at this point. Okay, let me go back. Let me check the stream here, or chat. I'm sorry. So let's see here. Oddweight says BBK is Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, Realme, iQOO. I know we've talked about this many times. There was a point where I was just getting so confused and figuring out what was what. It's like the VW of phones. That's a really good way to put it. I like that. That's a good analogy. Okay, so I got 10 minutes left, guys. 8 minutes. I was actually going to hold this off, but I'm going to talk about this today. So I'm not going to go over a whole review on my Huawei P40 Pro Plus because I've been doing that almost every day now. But so for you guys that don't know, right now I'm rocking a P40 Pro Plus using lawn chair. I think this is such a clean layout. I love it. The fact that I hid the status bar and now it just shows the date, the time, the weather, and then just swipe up, right, to get my drawer, swipe down for notifications or whatever. And there's no Google feed, no Google Discover. But what I did is to get my news stories, I just double tap. Now it's not, there you go, to get my news, which I think is really handy. That was something I added with Lawn Chair, which is great. But the one thing that I talked about that I'm going to talk about today real quick, I'm going to try to help people understand how to use this, is YouTube Vanced, right? So I have YouTube Vanced, which is right here. What I love about YouTube Vanced is oh, look, and it's showing me I can update it. I can get an update well, actually it's saying update YouTube. So I don't know how that's going to work, but now it's going to show the feed of what I'm watching here. But YouTube Vanced is great because it is an ad-free experience on it. It's like having YouTube Premium, but not paying YouTube Premium. And so I was able, so thank you, chat, for sharing YouTube Vanced for me. It works great. I have dark mode on it. The one issue I had with YouTube Vanced is I was not able to connect my Gmail account to it. It kept hanging. It wasn't allowing me to do it. And I found a way to do that yesterday. I took the time because I was getting annoyed that I couldn't like recommend channels that I don't want to watch or like things or whatever. I couldn't do it because I wasn't signed in. And I was able to do that yesterday. I should have actually researched this before I did it, because now I don't really remember exactly how I did it. I think I did. What you have to do to use YouTube Vanced, to sign into YouTube Vanced, if you're having trouble signing into YouTube Vanced, all you got to do is open Vanced Manager, right? This is Vanced Manager is a I guess the way to install YouTube Vanced, an easy way to install it. But what you're going to do, and I'm just going to try to like remember how to do it here. What you need to do first is, you see micro G. If you're unable to log into your YouTube Vanced, what you need to do is first uninstall micro G. And all you do that is click the trash button that's right there. So after you click that trash button, it's going to ask you to uninstall it. So you go ahead and uninstall it. I'm not going to do it now, but like what you need to do first is uninstall micro G. And then you need to download an old version of micro G. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this video out so people can understand. What you need to do is, after you uninstall the new version of micro G, you install the old version of micro G. I know that sounds confusing, and hopefully I'm making sense of that. After you install the new version of after you install the old version of micro G, then you go ahead and you open up YouTube Vanced again. After you do that, put YouTube Vanced in the background, just like throw it in the background. Don't close the app. Reinstall. Well, shit, I'm saying this wrong. I really should have just made a video on it. Maybe that's what I'll do, because now I know I'm messing it up. After you install the old version of micro G, what you need to do is, I should just do it. I'm just going to do it on camera. Might as well do it. Let's start over, guys. So I'm going to uninstall the new version of micro G. So it's uninstalling. It just told me I uninstalled it. And so now you can say that it's saying no micro G, right? So afterwards, I already have the file here. I know I downloaded it. So I'm going to install. So this is the old version of micro G. I'm going to go ahead and install that right now, which is what it's doing, right? So installing it. Micro G installed, successful. So I'm going to go now and I'm going to open up YouTube Vanced, right? So if you look at YouTube Vanced, it reset everything. Now it's just like Mr. Beast and whatever. Well, because I search for my stuff, but you'll see on the top, my avatar is no longer there. So what you need to do is, you're going to need to sign in to your account. So I'm signing into it, right? I'm going to do that right now. And actually, I need to use Google Authenticator, because that's how I have everything set up. Do you guys use Google Authenticator? That's something that I use instead of like your phone number for authentication. I know YouTube Authenticator is not the most updated. I don't remember the last time it got updated. Sorry, I'm looking at the Google Authenticator. Actually, I shouldn't share that with you. Anyway. Okay. So I'm logging in, right? And after you do that, it's going to error out. YouTube Vanced will not be able to log you into the system. So, and I think that's what's happening right now. You'll see I'm like going to try to cover up like my email address. God, I can't. It shows my email address. Whatever. It's not a big deal. So it's hanging there. So what you got to do is you got to hit the back button, right? You gotta go back. So now it's saying just a second, like, and so it errors out, right? God, I whatever. So that's an old email address. So it's saying that it can't. It says, please check your network connection, and then tap to retry. It's not going to work. So now you're just going to throw this in the background, right? You're going to throw it in the background. After you throw it in the background, you go back to YouTube Vanced. Let me find that again, or the Vanced Manager is what I'm trying to say. And then now you're going to reinstall the new micro G. You're going to reinstall it. I don't know why it has to be this complicated to install to get your YouTube account to come in. So now it's asking if you want to install it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Installing. So now it's saying success. You've installed micro G. So now it's all good. Now you can go back into YouTube Vanced. And there you go. You'll see my icon is back there. It's showing all of my stuff. And it works great. It's YouTube Vanced is like having YouTube Premium for free, is what I was trying to say. I kind of regret sharing that email address, but whatever. It's an old email address that I use as like my personal, but whatever. So now for anyone that had trouble logging into YouTube Vanced because it was hanging, this is a way of doing it. I think there are other ways of doing it. People were saying you need to go into micro G settings and change things, but I tried that and I couldn't get it to work. This worked. I found a solution. Somebody like just put a comment on Reddit and it didn't even have any upvotes on it. I was just like, let me just try it. And I tried it and it worked. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm going to clip that today and put that out there for anyone who might need help using YouTube Vanced. I don't know if this is just an issue for people on Huawei phones or people in general who are trying to use YouTube Vanced and can't sign in. So for anyone, hopefully that's good info and hopefully you can use that to your advantage. So, okay. Big House says we didn't see the address too bright. I still think it showed at some point. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, what's the point? So I know, Brian, don't cuss Jerome. YouTube is going to It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so Paul says had lawn chair, but didn't have infinite scrolling. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So let's see. The no Google services life scares me. I'd wait. You know what? Like, if you get a chance, maybe check some of my. I don't know. I've been able to use almost everything I've needed. I have almost everything I've needed. The only thing that I don't use now is like I use Gmail still. I'm still able to log into my Gmail accounts. Obviously, I'm able to use YouTube and use a free version of it. I don't use Google Chrome. I use Opera. I don't use Google Maps. I'm using the Here We Go map app. And I don't know. I've just had a really good experience so far. It's kind of, I don't know. I keep saying I don't know, and I just keep thinking Paul is like, I know he's saying it again. I need to catch myself in between gaps here. So John is in here. John, hi there. How's it going, John? You shortened your name. I know it was John something. I know what it was. Maybe you're just, whatever. Hey, John, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Team Verizon says, The Rock. It doesn't matter if you saw your own. It doesn't. It's not a big deal. So, okay, guys, with that being said, I know usually I would have a much longer show today, but I'm taking a look at 2 apartments today. And actually, I need to go take more pictures with my Huawei P40 Pro Plus. So I think I'm going to do that too. And I still have work tonight and tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's an even busier day, but I'm not going to get into that. I do want to thank everybody for coming by today. It's still crazy to me that there's still a good amount of people that just come and hang out. It's very humbling. It is. I thank you guys so much for always coming on the stream and spending an hour with me. Before I go, again, thank you everybody for liking. If you guys have not had a chance, please hit that like button. I know it sounds cheesy, but it really helps me out, especially when it comes to YouTube. If you are not a subscriber, I do stream weekdays. So hit that subscribe button if you want to get notified. Hit that bell notification if you want to get notified when I start streaming. And again, for people who are Patreons, thank you for being a patron. For people who are YouTube members, thank you for joining Darkman X2G. Thank you again so much for being a new member. For people who have super chatted like today, Brian, thank you again so much. For people who have super chatted in the past, thank you always, all you guys, for your support. It means a lot to me. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. Let's do it all over again. We'll have more tech to talk about. I think that's all I got. Who is somebody? Forbes Tech Reviews. What's up, Jerome and stream? I hope you're all having a good day. Hey, Forbes Tech Reviews, thank you for making it. Appreciate you stopping by. Big House says, Jerome, do you still have the TCL 10 Pro? I do. I still have it. Who is this? Renjith? How's it going, man? Do something else. Worst video. I'm sorry, man. You don't have to come here. You want to troll me? You can troll me if you want. Why are you here already? Watched MKBHV's video. why would you even waste your time? Is it just to get yourself on screen for, I mean, like, if you want, I can help you just like not come here again. Like I can just, yeah, there you go. Now you don't have to worry. You're good. You're good, bro. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. That's it for today. Welcome. Goodbye is what I'm tomorrow. We'll see. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Here comes the outro. Thank you guys again so much for making it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye now.